for living, non-living?
Okay, can you repeat the question again, Hemaji?
Is Arthadhyaya applicable only for living, non-being, living and non-living?
Okay, so, okay, good. Arthadhyasa. This is called adhyasa. Adhyasa is a mistake I make by projecting something on something. So the question is, this adhyasa, I gave the example of arthadhyasa, rope snake example was given, projecting one object on another object. Well, you can come up with any example, any two artha. It is not limited to living on living or living or non-living or non-living or living. No, not at all. For example, for example,
This one, the silver on the seashell, is another example.
silver on seashell is a popular Shastra example. Okay, Raj is called Rajata, and then our Shuktika Rajatu. Okay, Shuktika is the shell. In the night time, walking on the beach, you have to imagine the scene. There is moonlight is there, and then walking on the beach, suddenly you see a very shiny object on the bottom. And then they say silver. It's exactly shining like silver. And then Rajat, it's called Rajat. And then so on the shell, I project silver. And you pick it up, and then you say, oh. So, oh means what? Adhyasa, I made an adhyasa. I was a fool. Like that. Then, so that is what non-living on non-living. Living on living also possible. Happens all the time. Happens in a crowded place, in a railway station, or in the airport. You tap on somebody's shoulder. Hey, how are you? And then that person turns around, and then you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, because I thought you were my friend. I thought you were my colleague. Something." Living on like this, anything is possible. There is no limit to that.
Even dream is a simple example, right?
See, dream is not an adhyas, even though it is pratibhasika. We don't, it's no free will is involved, Prasad. In dream will, no free will is. Here, adhyasa is, it's in the waking state. See, dream is helpless. Suppose you ask the question. Let's ask this question. Will a jnani get dreams? First question. Second question. Will a jnani mistake a rope for a snake? Second question. Correct? Two questions are there. You have to think about it. I'm not going to answer those questions. Okay? We'll come back to that. Okay? Mahesh, go ahead.
So for two questions, one is following up on Hemaji's question. So then what is the difference between dharma dhyasa and artha dhyasa?
What is the difference? Correct. So that's a good question. Dharma dhyasa, there is no artha dhyasa. There is no artha dhyasa in dharma. So in dharma means what? I don't mistake the sun as some other object. Sun is sun only, but the sun is moving. I don't mistake the sun to be some Jupiter or something like that. No. Sun is sun. I'm very clear about what the sun is. Very crystal clear. But this moving is the dharma, motion. It's an attribute of the object and it doesn't have that attribute and then I project it. Okay. Now, it's an example of the dharma dhyasa. And dharma dhyasa happens constantly in our relationships. Constant. Don't make me give examples, please. Husband and wife. If you are husband and wife, well, it's it over. Adhyasa is constant. Dharma dhyasa. No, you are an idiot. No, you are an idiot. No, I told you all. You're just stupid. Okay, not just stupid. That is pure adhyasa. Because you are just stupid is a blanket statement. Correct? Hey, there are certain things I am not good at. I accept you're not good at. None of us is good in everything anyway. And so there are certain things that is triggering other people to say things. You're stupid, period. You're just always stupid. No, always stupid at all, not correct state. Pure adhyasa. Pure adhyasa. And then I live my life based on my adhyasa. No, this guy is a stupid guy. That's it. And so it's a problem, causes problems all the time. So dharmadhyasa, constant dharmadhyasa, constant. Whenever we make a judgment, we are doing an adhyasa, correct? Can we say that? Judgment, when we judge a person, is it an adhyasa? If I take the judgment to be real, then I am doing a adhyasa.
So my second question is on the Shloka 13-17 we just translated. I heard.
So 1 second, Maheshji, let me finish the thought. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So no, that's fine. So it just came to me. So dharmadhyasa. Therefore, dharmadhyasa is different from arthadhyasa, correct? Different from arthadhyasa. Okay. Now the question is dharmadhyasa involved in arthadhyasa? Can I mistake? I mistook the rope to be a snake. And we are saying it is arthadhyasa. Is there any dharmadhyasa involved in that also? Is all I'm asking. So Meera is saying yes. Okay. Meera is saying yes. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. That's just a technical thing, just for us to.
Fear is the adhyasa, no? That is dharmadhyasa.
No. See. What is dharmadhyasa? What is
It is,
dharmadhyasa?
it is the attribute, right? You're not, the object is not mistaken, but the attribute is mistaken.
Okay, so you're talking about after I see the snake, then I'm afraid of the snake. Okay. But the fear is not an attribute of the snake. So you're saying that because fear is not an attribute of the snake, and since I'm afraid, there is some adhyasa. But no, but you're saying fear is my dharma. My dharma is fear. I am afraid. Snake is not afraid. I am afraid. That is my dharma. But we are talking about the dharma of that object. Sun is not moving. Sun does not have the dharma of moving. But I am projecting the earth's motion. Not okay. Earth's motion on the sun. Therefore, I say sun is moving. But fear, my fear, I am not. Am I projecting on the snake? I am afraid or the snake is afraid?
I am afraid. So maybe the living and the non-living, that projection.
So, my question is this. Is there any dharmadhyasa involved in arthadhyasa? That's all I'm asking.
I mean, the fact that you projected rope on snake is because similarity of shape. You don't project a stone on a snake or a rope.
Correct? You don't look at the rope and say, oh my God, there is an elephant in my house. Nobody said that. So far, we have not heard anything like that. Because if that guy were to say that, then we have a serious problem at home. Correct? So why we don't say it? Because dharma is also involved in that. The dharmas of the two objects are reasonably close. Reasonably close. The main dharmas have to be identical. Then some other dharmas I can project. And it turns out to be an arthadhyasa. Starts with dharma. Swami Parvatyananda here, he will tell. No, it starts with dharmadhyasa. Like that, he will tell. We have argued on this, and he always says. So I'll tell Swami that today we had this discussion. He'll be very happy. Okay, Prasad, go ahead.
I have one other question.
Yeah, sorry.
So in the 13-17 sloka which we just translated, in the second half it says, I heard you say that Brahman is creator, resolver, and sustainer of all beings. Is that correct?
Okay. Correct.
So my question is, Brahman is akarta, or no attributes, no. So how can they be Brahman can be a creator, sustainer.
Therefore, correct. So therefore, this is called what? This is adhyaropa.
Okay.
Adhyaropa. Later on, we'll come and say Brahman is Nirgunam also. Creator and not the creator also. Created because without Brahman, the world doesn't exist. from from the perspective of the real world. Because you say the world is real, I am forced to say Brahman is the creator. But slowly, when I begin to understand that the world is really not as real as I thought it to be, with Mithya, then I can begin to understand it's a projection, Adhyaropa, Adhyasa. Adhyasa is better because that's mine. And the Shastram, when the Shastram tells me that it's an Adhyasa, my dear friend, Shastram is saying, okay, previously we did an Adhyaropa, now I'm going to do an Apavada. Correct. So you're right, Mahesh. It is not, it is real until the Satyam is understood.
Thank you.
Adhyaropa Apavada. Beautiful. Because Mithya is like that. Correct? That's the beauty of Mithya. Mithya, what is Mithya? Swakale Satyavad Bhati. In its own time, it appears real. Exactly. Dream also is like that. Waking world also is not different. From that perspective, it's not. Samsara Swapna Tulyogi. Yeah. Anything else, Maheshji?
Nothing. Thank you.
Prasad, go ahead.
So there's another term which I heard. Is it the same? Saupadika Adhyasa is same as Dharma, the Adhyasa?
Yeah. So you can see, I'll give you an example. Let's talk. This question is Prasad's question is this. There are two words. Sopadhika Adhyasa and Nirupadhika Adhyasa. Okay. It's very technical. That example of Rajat, Shuktikayam Rajat, the silver on the shell example. They say it is Nirupadhika Adhyasa. And they give another example. Shankara gives this example in Brahma Sutra Bhashyam, Adhyasa Bhashyam. He gives Ekas Chandraha Sadvitiyavat. Hey, you look at the moon in the evening, the night, and the guy who has cataract will see two moons. Okay. You'll see two moons. Or you just press your eyeballs like this while seeing the moon. You'll see two moons. Two moons, and you take it as real. Oh, there is also Mars shining next to moon today. Something like that. That's Ekas Chandra Sadvitiyavat. It's like two moons. There that is Sopadika Adhyasa. Sopadika means what? Along with an Upad. It's a very technical. I just accept it as it is, as he said. The way to understand it, there is an object, that object has doubled. Whereas here, the object has not doubled. Rope snake, object has not doubled. Object is mistaken. Here, object is not mistaken. Moon is moon only, but there are two moons. That two moon example is the Sopadika Adhyasa. And this every other example we are talking about, where one is being projected on the other, and the one object remains one object, it is called Nirupadika Adhyasa. It's technical, don't worry if you don't understand. Okay, other people.
The mirror's example is Nirupadika?
It should be Nirupadika.
Okay.
It should be Nirupadika. See, very interesting. These discussions are all there. Shankaracharya talks about it. See, nothing is there, but I see water. So why Prasad is asking, is it Nirupadika or Sopadika? See, I have not thought about all these things, okay? I'm just cautioning it. Means this detail, this particular example or not. But now that you're asking. Okay. Water, is it superimposed on something or not? First question, let's ask. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. You are superimposing water on what?
On sand or desert.
On sand or on
Yeah.
air or something like that. Because sometimes water is floating, you know.
Yeah.
On a hot surface road, water, sometimes you can see a gap between the two. So maybe it's not on road. Sometimes on road, sometimes on top of road also. On sand, on top of sand. Okay. So then if it is on top of sand, then what is, we are projecting it on what? On something that is there, air. On air it is projected. So there, it is Nirupadikam, exactly like other examples. It appears like you created something out of nothing. Anyway, it's technical look. It's not, doesn't matter what, whether it is Nirupadika or so far.
Is it not comes differently? Like I go forward and look back, still it appears. It doesn't mean that way. So I saw, okay, at some point, let's assume in my mind, oh, there is a mirrors here. I passed it and then look back, it is still there, even though I knew it, that it was a mirrors. So in that sense, also can be taken as Nirupadika or just
No,
only.
no, you can't say that. It is
Okay.
there because it is everybody's experience. And it's not, that perception is not going to go away. Even though you are a particle physicist who knows so much about so many objects and God, still, even the particle physicist will see the same thing that everybody else is seeing. So it is a samanya anubhava. Samanya anubhava. And what an example it is. What an example. It's just the sense of what they, in Sanskrit they call it something. They call it something.
Marumarichika.
Marichika. Marichika. Jala Marichika. Correct. Marichika, right? Viraj is Marichika. Correct. Correct. Marichika. Good. Anything else?
So other thing you mentioned, about Kenopanishad, when you said that I have understood it, it doesn't mean that I understood, I know it. It's not that I don't know it, right? So it's basically a paradox of language. Something like is greater than greatest, smaller than smallest. So that way is a paradox of language. When we say
it's not. It's not a paradox of language. It is a paradox of the vastu. Acharam charam. Bahihi antaha. So how that is a paradox. That's a paradox. Right there today. Acharam charam. Vibhaktam avibhaktam. That is a paradox. And so that paradox is because it is achintyam. Achintyam means you can't visualize it also. Can't even visualize. It's not even a concept to visualize. Concepts we can visualize. Okay, we can visualize concepts. But this thing is not even available for conception like that. Conceptualization, let's say. That is what is being said. That is what is being said. Taittiriya Upanishad, Yato Vacho Nivartante. Hey, even the greatest scholar. The scholar has vocabulary of millions and millions of words. My vocabulary is only this much. But then even that scholar cannot categorically point to Brahma. Words bounce back, it seems. What a language word. Yato, vacho, never. That from which words just bounce back. So it is not paradox of language. It is, you can see, when you say paradox of language, that's wrong because that means maybe we can come up with a better language later. Sanskritam is good, but not so good. Then we are still inventing some languages through which Brahman can be known. No, we don't want to go there. No language, even Sanskritam will say, Yato Vacho Nivartante. Any other language will say this. Because there is Brahma. Vastu is like that.
Yeah, so yeah, I was thinking
That's a good question. That's a good question. Is it a paradox of language? Is it an inadequacy of language? Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we cannot directly describe it. I say that it is greater than greatest, smaller than smallest. I understood it, but it doesn't mean that I know it, and I do not know it. So from that perspective, it is a paradox, right? I mean, neti net is one strategy. Like paradox, like other ways it is mentioned in Vedanta, greater than greatest, something like that. So this also fits into that type of paradox. That's what.
Correct. And it's not a language paradox. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
language
Paradox.
to be more paradox. Yeah.
Good. Very good.
In Vibhuti, more or less like tangible, he explained, no? Krishna, like Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhuta Shayastitaha, same line, Aham Adischa Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Anta Evacha.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, yeah.
That idea was more tangible, and here it is like.
You're muted. You're muted.
That idea was more tangible because he was heading towards Vishwarupa Darshana, and here it is all pervasive. It has moved from there.
Correct. Correct. You're right. Because there, Adincha, Madhyamcha, etc. Okay, I can appreciate all that. But here, yeah, contradictions are being taught. Apparent contradictions.
There are similar words like Prabhavam Asmi, Surya, Shashi Surya Yoho, all that was.
Correct. Correct. So there's no contradiction. Everything is a distinct thing.
Yeah. In Vibhutis.
Correct. Good. Therefore, Vibhuti Yoga is easier to follow.
Yeah.
Only here, people are exiting. Now there are only 9 people. So, Charam and Charam and all, no, it's okay. Thank you.
All Charam only.
Huh? I'll be Charam. Correct. I want to be Charam. Anything else?
The German philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein, he says that the limits of the language are the limits of the universe. He nicely said that way. So anything can be, so anything you can describe in language are like probably within the saguna, I mean, within the, jagat. Beyond that description, that's where it fits into Vedanta for describing Brahman.
Yeah. The limits, once again, say that.
The limits of the language are the limits of the universe.
Now, wait. See, the limits of the language are the limits of the universe. Is he saying, implying universe is limited?
So the meaning of that is like anything what we describe in terms of a language. So it can be done only within the universe. I mean, anything beyond that universe you want to describe, language doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. He's right. He got it.
Yeah.
Ludwig, what again?
Ludwig Wittgenstein.
Yeah, if you can send some information about him, some brief about who is he, what is his essential thesis and all.
Yeah.
Okay, Swapna, yesterday when Swamiji said, I am in consciousness, it made it so clear. Consciousness is the constant and everything is in it. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.